So a good like 23% of my life is on TikTok. So obviously I'm gonna get like a lot of my book recommendations off of TikTok. 1, 2, 3, 4. Colleen Hoover has taken up 4 spots on my list. Damn. However, Dr. Adam Now this is definitely not the type of content you're expecting today. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel if you're new here, or welcome back to my channel if you have been here. My name is Elle, and this is Elle Fletcher, because that is my name, Elle Fletcher. And today, I want to start doing book videos, because in my personal life, I read a lot. Too much, some may say. And I decided on a whim that I was gonna start making videos about books because I love books and I love to read. Also, this is in no particular order of my least favorite to favorite. This is just the top 10 that I could think of that genuinely every single, like, each book in this list, like, really, like, hit me right here. The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. This book was on Book Talk. This was a very popular book on Book Talk, and genuinely, like, I already knew women in STEM. It was something that was really close to me because when I first started college, I was in STEM. I was a computer science major, if you did not know, and then I changed from computer science to media studies because film and screenwriting and that type of thing is more my speed. If I could go back, I probably would do it again, and try computer science again. So I really enjoyed reading this book because it was just like, it was so cute and it was so wholesome, and I have all the tabs. I just finished like tabbing and annotating like all my favorite moments in it. I read it the day it came out. Like, I had it on my calendar. This is the day that The Love Hypothesis came out. I bought it immediately and I read it all in literally a day.
Which isn't surprising for me because I read a lot of books in a day.
And it was so good. I could not put it down. The Love Hypothesis is about a girl named Olive who is getting her PhD at Stanford. And she dated this dude named Jeremy for like a little while. It didn't really work out, but they stayed good friends. Jeremy, however, is kind of crushing really hard on her best friend, On, and On likes him as well, but she doesn't want to date him because of girl code and like, you dated my best friend Olive, I don't want to do that to her, like, da-da-da. Even though Olive is like, I literally didn't even like him that way. You know how I feel about relationships and stuff like that. I don't really vibe with him that way. On was still like, I still don't want to. It's girl code. It doesn't matter. You're not seeing anybody, so you're probably still pining over him. Just basically putting things in her brain. But Olive is like, no, I really don't like him like that. I actually have a date tonight. Olive was lying and ended up going to the lab to work on like her grad research project for the end of the year. And On walks in the room and she's like, fuck. So what does she do? She decides to kiss the first person that walks in the room on the other side, and it was Dr. Adam Carlson. Dr. Adam Carlson is like the biggest grumpy ass like man to ever walk the face of the earth. He is like an advisor for the kids at Stanford. Think of like your meanest teacher ever. That is him. He fails so many experiments. He's like, do it again, change your thesis, like it's not good enough, da-da-da. Anyways, she kisses him. But the thing is, like, they have history that Olive forgot about previously, and Adam has low-key been crushing on her for a very long time. So when she asks him to fake date her so that On thinks that her and Jeremy, like, she's completely over Jeremy and all this stuff, they end up obviously falling for each other. It's super cute, super wholesome. So the next one, Archer's Voice. This one has to be in my top 3 of the year. I have the physical copy of this book. I love this book more than I love my life. I genuinely think for the year, this was my #1 read. I read it summer of 2021. I think it was like one of the first 5 books I read when I came home from college. And it was just so good. And in the ending, I literally cried because I thought something was gonna happen and it didn't. If you know what I'm talking about, it's the thing that almost had me in tears. I literally screamed and I started crying because I was like so attached emotionally to these characters because it was so wholesome. It was so cute and it was so wholesome, and I was like, wow, all that character development, the character growth, it was so good. And then it was all gone. I'm probably going to cut a lot of that out because I feel like a lot of that was spoilers. The synopsis of this book, because genuinely, it's a book that you should probably go in blind reading it. So basically, Bree Prescott is new to town and she moved to Pelion, I think, Pelion, Maine. And she basically has a lot of trauma from her old town with her dad. And she kind of moves to Pelion to basically start anew, get away, like that whole shebang. And she goes to the store one day and she runs into this dude. He just like looks unkept and he has a long beard and long hair and he just doesn't look like he takes care of himself. She drops all of her shit like on the floor and he helps her pick it up, and she's like stumbling over her words and being like, oh my god, thank you so much, like, hi, I'm Bree, I'm new to town. But he literally doesn't say a single word to her. And basically, she goes around town and asks about him, and people are like, oh, that's Archer Hale, he's been here forever, his family's been here forever, I don't know, he's just so weird, he's so strange. And then one day, Bree's dog runs into Archer's lawn, and that is when their story begins. November 9 by Colleen Hoover. Also check your trigger warnings. November 9 by Colleen Hoover. So good. Colleen Hoover, I have another, oh no, it's at school. I have another Colleen Hoover book. It's called It Ends With Us. It was also on Book Talk, but I read that book back in 2019, so it's not on my 2021 reads. But this book, so good. Literally, I read this when I was in a reading slump and I finished it in like 2 days. I could not eat, I could not sleep. I had to read this book. I was staying up so late to read it. It is just such a good story, and you're not gonna expect any of the twists and turns. It's a little squeamish, I'm not gonna lie. It's not like too squeamish, but it's definitely a little like hard to get through once you get to like the like 3rd or 4th November. Not specifically sure. Also, Colleen Hoover books are another type of story that you really need to just go into blind. To give a little synopsis of what it's about, this girl named Fallon, who was a very successful actress, gets in a really bad accident, and it basically causes her to not be able to get as many jobs as she used to. She got fired from her successful TV show, and she's kind of like on this new path of life, kind of like figuring out what is she gonna do next. She goes to lunch with her dad to tell him basically what she is going to do next, which is move to New York. She has a red eye that night, and she's about to start her new life over there and hopefully tackle Broadway. Her dad does not take it very lightly, and it's just not gonna work out for her. She's wasting her time. She should do something different. That whole like gaslighting white man situation. Yes, okay. Ben comes in at the booth next to them, I think, like across, and he slides over and pretends to be Fallon's boyfriend in front of her father, and basically helps Fallon team up against her father. However, Fallon and Ben have never met each other. He's just a random dude who she just walked past when she was on the way to the bathroom, and basically their fake relationship starts. When you read it, it's literally kind of like a beautiful romance. On the outside, it's a beautiful romance. On the inside, it is not. Next book, The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I'm not gonna lie, I tried the Dirty Air series by Lauren Asher and I didn't like it. I didn't read all of them. I read the first one, I didn't really like. Fine Print had me in a chokehold. And I'm so excited for Terms and Conditions that comes out in 2022. So basically, The Fine Print is about, woman in STEM as well, a girl in engineering and design. Think of like the Walt Disney-esque type person, okay? He's like the founder of Dreamland. Passes away. His 3 grandsons, though, are next in line to like take over. Like, they've been working their entire lives so they can take over specific parts of Dreamland. Their grandfather gave them all letters with tasks to complete to then be able to own their shares of the company. Rowan Kane, basically, he is the biggest grump, like Grumpy Sunshine 1000%. His task is basically he has to go back and work at the park. Like, he has to manage the park. But basically, he goes to the park, kind of revisits it, kind of has to relive it, and he's not really enjoying it. Goes to all these like business meetings, not really enjoying it, just doesn't really like his time there, but he just wants to share it. And again, he just wants to get the fuck out. However, Zara is the main girl in this book, and I love her. She's so full of light and love, and she really just wants Dreamland to be the best that it can be. She gets the job to start revamping for some of the least favorite rides at Dreamland to make them better so people will want to ride them. And basically, her and Rowan don't get along, enemies to lovers, very much like, obviously Grumpy Sunshine, but not in the way where it's like attractive Grumpy Sunshine, very much like, I fucking hate you and I don't want you around me, so get the fuck away from me. That type of energy. And so that's kind of like what is up with them. That's a really bad description of it, but genuinely it's such a good book. Alright, the next one. Another Colleen Hoover book. It's called Verity. Read this shit in a literal day. I started it at 3 o'clock in the morning, didn't put it down until 9 p.m. that night. That book, so good, and it's completely different from all the other books that I read in this series. And genuinely, the only thing I can tell you about it, because I want you to go into it open, like literally, when I tell this book is the definition of going into it blind. All I'm going to tell you about this book is just, Verity is about this author named Lowen Ashley, and basically she gets tasked at her publishing company to take over the very famous book series by Verity Crawford. This requires Lowen to move into Verity's home with her husband, with Verity's husband and son. Husband Jeremy and son Crew. Lowen moves in, she starts writing, but she also finds a manuscript from Verity, and that is where the story takes off. Like, that is very brief, and I'm already telling you a lot, and it may not seem like a lot, but you need to read the book, and it genuinely is so good. It's a psychological thriller, forbidden romance. When I read it, I thought it was one thing, and it ended up being a whole different thing. I was literally sitting on the floor next to my Christmas tree reading this book. Like, it's so good. It's probably one of Colleen Hoover's best. Alright, now this one's maybe a little controversial, but I actually did really like it. So, Tryst Venom by Penelope Douglas. Like, I loved Clay and Olivia so much. They were so interesting, and I love the fact that Olivia was a theater kid, because I'm also a theater kid. Let me tell you how much I love them. I literally bought a shirt that Olivia wore in the... Well, actually, no, Clay wore it, but it's Olivia's shirt. Clay wore in the book. It's, that it was like, headlines don't sell papes, newsies sell papes shirt. You can get it on Amazon. Yes, basically, I loved this book. I loved this story. It's about Clay and Olivia, and they go to this, like, Catholic school, I'm pretty sure. And Olivia's from the wrong side of the tracks, and she's, like, from the poor side. And Clay is, like, rich, fancy, smancy, like, blonde hair, blue eyes, privileged, like, girl, and Olivia is, like, I think she's Hispanic, and both of her parents died. She lives with her brother, like, her 4 brothers. I would love a series on her brothers. Penelope Douglas, please tell me you are working on a series with her brothers, because her brothers are so interesting. I would love to read a book about them. Clay and Olivia, and they hate each other. They're on the same, I think it's lacrosse or like field hockey team, and they've known each other since they were freshmen. And Olivia's the only out gay girl at her school. Clay is straight, and she has always had a crush on Olivia. And we kind of just see, you can kind of guess like how it goes, like enemies to lovers, like that whole thing. I thought that the book was really cute, but I can see, but I did talk to my friend about it, and she did say it was a little like triggering to her. So I'm kind of like, it really just depends. I would check your trigger warnings on it. I did love it myself, but I am a straight woman, so I don't like, I don't want to speak on behalf of a whole like group of people. I enjoyed it personally. I thought the writing was good. I love Penelope Douglas's writing. I think it's like, it's this perfect speed for me. It wasn't like too much of a slow burn, but I thought that their banter was so cute, and it had like the right amount of spice, and it had the right amount of like serious stuff as well as like just fun stuff, and it was just really good and I loved it. But yeah, Tryst x Venom. I have the physical copy of this. It is at my school. It's huge. That book is huge. It's like 600, close to 700 pages. The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I am in her Facebook group for this book because I love this book so much, and I'm so excited for the American Roommate Experiment, and I think that comes out this year. I think it comes out in 2022, and oh, when I tell you, I'm so excited. The Spanish Love Deception is definitely a hit or a miss, because either you like it or you don't. I liked it. It's very slow at the beginning. Like the first 100 pages, not my favorite. The moment they get on the plane, just hold out until they get on the plane. That's all I had to, that literally is all that got me through the first 100 pages. Wait until they get on the plane. Because the moment they get on the plane, so fast. Such a fast read. It's like boom, 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 like everything. It's so cute. It is so cute. Also, Aaron Blackford hit my line. But the Spanish Love Deception is basically workplace enemies to lovers. And the story of Catalina, and she needs a date to her sister's wedding in Spain because she knows that her ex-boyfriend is going to be there because her sister is marrying her ex-boyfriend's brother. I know. And she ends up taking her least favorite co-worker of life, Aaron Blackford, to the wedding. And I wouldn't say hijinks ensues, but it's just their relationship dynamic is so different in Spain versus how it was in the States. It's so good. It's literally such a romance. It's such a classic romance. There's so many tropes. All right, another book I read, Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Can you sense a theme? So, Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, another really good book I don't have, but I would love to have. I really want this book because the poetry in this book is literally insane. And the ending, the last poem in the book, had my mouth on the floor. That is how much I loved it. And it genuinely was not my favorite. It was so good. It was really good. I can't deny it. It was really, really good. Miles and Tate, insane. Also, in November 9, the couple from Ugly Love pop up in here, and they make a reference to Ugly Love as well. There's 2 references to Ugly Love in here. The couple is in the book, and they make a reference in the first November 9th. Genuinely, I would say read Ugly Love first and then read November 9, because again, that book that he's reading is a spoiler to Ugly Love. It's like a big spoiler, but like you can read it otherwise if you don't want to read Ugly Love, but it's just like you wouldn't know unless you like read the book. But Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, another book you should go into blind. Basically about the stories of Miles and Tate. Miles is a pilot. This is the book that made me have a thing for pilots now. Or just, you know, if you have anybody in your life who is a pilot and they're young, and I'm 19, I turned 20 in January. If you know a pilot and they're cute and you think that if they think I'm cute, my Instagram is in the description below. My DMs are open. I'm not joking. Tate is a nurse, and Tate just moved into this apartment building with her brother because she's trying to like move. I think she just moved to LA. It's her first night there, and she sees this man in front of her brother's door, drunk off of his ass, lying on the floor, kind of like how I am right now, but he's just drunk, and he's just like screaming this girl's name, and he's like, "Who are you? Am I about to get attacked? Do I need to call the police? What's my plan of action?" It turns out that this is her brother's best friend, Miles, and we basically meet Miles. He's in this weird standpoint of his life where he's kind of vied off of love. He doesn't want to do anything and with women, but he has some weird connection to Tate, obviously. And then they have a nice little friends with benefits type situation, and it's really interesting. Anyways, the present is in Tate's perspective, and then the past is in Miles's perspective. Yeah, so he falls in love with this girl in his past, and you watch the story of that unfold and then you also watch in the present the story of Tate and Miles unfold. And it's so heartbreaking, and it's so beautiful, and I don't think I've ever read a book like this before. This next book that I'm going to talk about, I'm not even done with it. It's called Party for Two by Jasmine Guillroy, and it is so good. It's so good. It's about this girl named Olivia Monroe, and she meets this dude at a hotel bar as she just moved back to LA after being in New York for a couple years to go to law school, and she's staying at a hotel until like she can technically get her keys the next day. She meets this guy, his name is Max. They hit it off. It's really like a lot of flirty like banter stuff, and she's like, wow, he's actually like really cute. I kind of want to sleep with him, but he's definitely like, he didn't do anything. He didn't like make a move to go any further. So she's kind of like, okay, whatever, I guess that's it. She goes back to her room, she turns on the TV, and she sees Max on the television. And he's not an actor, he's the senator of California. And it's very much guy falls first, which is my favorite trope of all time. Basically, it's just like their love story, and I'm like a little over halfway through with the book. It's really good. Okay, so the last book is All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. 1, 2, 3, 4. Colleen Hoover has taken up 4 spots on my list. Damn, if you can't tell, I'm a fan. All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover is probably, again, another different book by her. I want to say that genuinely all of her books, none of them are the same. None of them are similar in any way. None of them are your typical romance. All of them are literally go in blind. You come out with a whole new perspective on life and love and things, and it's just gorgeous. So yes, All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover is a story of Quinn and Graham. And it's in past and present alternating chapters. It starts from the past, the moment Quinn and Graham met, and then the present is them in their marriage falling out of love. When I tell you, I really wasn't interested in reading this book at all because I heard a lot of different emotions about it. Mainly, all of them were like, it's good, but it's really sad. I didn't feel like reading a sad book over the summer. I was like, no, not really in it for that. No, thank you. But I was like, okay, I'll just read it anyways, and I'll just only like pay attention to like the past, like of them falling in love, you know? But when you read that book, you read the past, and you want to read the present, and then when you read the present, you want to read the past, and it's like, it's really just going back and forth the entire time, kind of like, okay, I get it, I get why they're in this situation, but it all could be easily fixed by communication. Miscommunication trope to a T. It's them falling in love and falling out of love. It's beautiful, it's dark, and it really kind of broke me a little bit as a human being. The reason I put it in my top 10 was because when you read these books, you kind of like get your ending, and then you get an epilogue sometimes, and it all seems like happy-go-lucky, like it's a happy situation. But you never really see the troubles that come with marriage, and romance is so great that they become romance novels. Like, there are troubles when it comes to marriage. Like, not everything is so easy, like, when you first fall in love. And, you know, you see that in, like, the second act breakup and, like, all that stuff. But, like, it's different when you're in a marriage. So, yeah, I thought that All Your Perfects was great. I loved the ending. Any of these books that I listed on here that I don't have. I do not have a copy of The Fine Print, Verity, Spanish Love Deception, Ugly Love, Party for Two, and All Your Perfects. I don't have copies of any of those books. So I'm saying that if you need to figure out what to get me for my birthday or Christmas or anything, definitely keep up with this, and you can send me any of these books. But yes, those are the books that I read. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.